My name is Ciara O'Farrell and I'm the Senior Academic Developer and Chair of the Assessment Strand of the Trinity Education Project. The purpose of this video is to share with you the views recently expressed at the Assessment Forum by academic staff, professional staff and students. Assessment impacts everyone in the college community. For students, there's nothing more central to their learning experience than assessment, and it has been described as the most powerful lever we have to influence how our students behave as learners, and that if we want to change how our students learn, we should change assessment. You noted the dominance of a testing culture as regrettable. Summative assessment or assessment of learning is used to measure learning, but its dominance has distorted another valuable aspect of assessment, that being to enhance learning. Both purposes of assessment are interdependent, but often they're at odds with each other. How can we find a balance between maintaining assessment standards and using assessment as a vehicle to enhance and support learning? You spoke of the need to eradicate what you termed leaving cert mentality to assessment, but at the same time there was a recognition that many of us are successful examples of this system, and we do tend to teach and assess as we were taught and assessed. Even though there are excellent examples of innovative and creative assessments across college, summative examinations still tend to dominate, and these can tend to measure how we assemble information rather than promoting a deeper approach to learning. A TSM student spoke of her recent scholarships examinations as being really transformative for her, precisely because she had to integrate and synthesize knowledge from across her programme. Modularisation was seen as impeding assessments and leading to a piecemeal approach to assessment. This can lead to fragmentation of learning for students and indeed to over-assessment for students and staff. You spoke of the need for a range of assessments to be strategically placed across a programme so that students have opportunity to experience a range of assessments over the course of their programme. Of course, there are barriers to assessment, and some of the barriers you spoke about were increased student numbers, the demands of accrediting bodies, the fact that you're not comfortable with the technology that can enhance assessment, and of course time. You spoke of wanting to try new types of assessment, peer assessment, group assessment, self-assessment. You spoke of wanting to work more with assessment that can promote critical reflection or project work. But how can you invest in these new forms of assessment with all the other competing demands on your time? There was a strong view that assessment should be as authentic and real-world as possible, and assess not just knowledge, but also the skills, attributes and behaviours that our students will need as graduates. And you said that not everything can be formally assessed or should be formally assessed, and you gave the example of co-curricular activity in Trinity as an example of this. It's very important that our students engage in co-curricular activity, but how can we ensure that they're able to articulate the skills and attributes that they can achieve through their co-curricular activities? When you do create assessments that challenge your students to get involved in deep learning, you find that they often remain preoccupied with marks rather than meaning. You said that students must also take responsibility for their learning, but to help them do this, you talked about facilitating them to understand how assessment works so that the whole process becomes less tacit. By showing our students how to assess, rather than them simply being passive recipients of assessment, they will develop the capacity to judge their own work and that of others, which is an important and valuable graduate attribute. Finally, you voiced the importance of engaging in professional dialogue about teaching, learning and assessment with your students, with your colleagues, as a programme team and with the wider academic community, so that we can learn from each other about how assessment works and what we do. Assessment is a fundamental function of higher education, but we want to ensure that our assessment processes prepare our students for a lifetime of learning. Thank you.